WNBA scouting report, WNBA Finals Game 2, you got them. You got Las Vegas Aces, going to tip it up 12 noon, going to get it on in just a few hours. They're going to kick it in. And we're going to break it down for you and let you know how that's going to shake out. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. Let's get it in. The WNBA, they're going to get this thing in, and you got Game 2. Boy, it's a burner, right? Because you got the Aces snuck out of there last week. They get Game 1. They kind of stole Game 1, right? Phoenix won that game. Alyssa Thomas goes to the line, makes any one of those free throws, and it's going to be on her mind until they tip it up again. The score could have been different, right? But you let the Aces get out one. You let Becky sneak one out. Now, Nate Tibbetts pronounced it very clear. He says it's going to be a good series. That means I'm coming after you Game 2, Becky, and I'm going to come after you. I'm coming after you hard, right? And what does Vegas say, right? You're going to pay down there in Vegas while you're onto the arena. You go right over to the MGM, place your bet. They got the Las Vegas Aces, 3.5-point favorite. Okay, they're playing at home. Throw it up in the air. Give them 3 points for playing at home, right? But that's not going to be the game. The game is going to be decided whether or not Phoenix can hold them off, right? Because you got to protect your home court advantage, 7-game series. Now, if Nate can get this one, go back, get 2 at home, then he's in a closeout. But that's going to be hard to do, folks. You know, a couple years ago, you guys asked me who's the best of the best, right? Who's the best point guard out there? Money Mike, who is the best of the best? Folks, I'm going to tell you something. Chelsea Gray, that's the best of the best. I said it 2 years ago. I'm going to tell you now. That's the best of the best. And, you know, I got my colleagues, John Liquidator, John Chelsea. Okay, the Pope, Chelsea. Adrian Ross, Chelsea. I'm going to tell you guys now. Now, am I skewed? Yes, I'm skewed. Why? Because Chelsea Gray's from Sacramento. Money Mike's right there in the heart line. And then on top of that, you know, Chelsea Gray, you know, there were other players like you had Brittany Griner. You had Brittany Shine, right? Was a great player at Sacramento High School, right? And you had Gina over there at Franklin, right? Great player over there at Franklin High. But then you had Chelsea Gray at St. Mary's. Chelsea Gray is a blue blood, okay? When I say a blue blood, that means you played at St. Mary's and went straight to Duke and got it in, right? Chelsea Gray got 3 chips. So Nate Tibbetts, he doesn't have to figure out what's going on. This is where it gets interesting, and it kind of gets into the coaching aspect of it, right? Because now you got players who are wondering, Alyssa Thomas, she could show up, she could win, Matt could show up. Sabally went out there, got you 19 points, finished off even, flatlined in the plus-minus, right? So she's in the game there. Kalia Copper dropped 21, but again, flatline didn't affect the game. Really, you played just where you started. 0-0 when you started, and the plus-minus, you're 0, right? And you got Bonner ran a -12. Now, if you want to know the weakest link in Game 1, that was Bonner. I mean, you're running a -12. We can get you on the defensive end. We can get you on the offensive end. So Bonner has got to step up, because here's what you're facing. And here's where Tibbetts you can't run away from this. Not everybody in the WNBA, right? Becky Hammond has it, but not everybody has this. You're sitting there with Jewel Lloyd coming off the bench, right? And when you got Jewel Lloyd that's stepping off the bench, okay, iron sharpens iron, folks. And iron sharpens iron. And here's where I'm going to drop some flowers on the player who played for the Chicago Sky last year. Her name was Dana Evans, right? Dana Evans has come over. And here where Money Mike tells you all the time, okay, it's not always sometimes about coaching. Sometimes you get better players. Well, Dana Evans was in Chicago, right? And they got a mess going on down there, playing with horrible players. Okay, and Dana Evans just gave up. She was here, take this, I'll start offensive half court. Dana Evans is out there on this court getting it in, right? So Becky's got a bench. Got Jewel Lloyd, and come on, guys. You got Dana Evans out there scoring. Becky's out there talking about Dana Evans can score. And this is where people or general managers or coaches, they overlook, and they got this fixation on what a player can do. Well, the fixation Tibbetts has got to have, man, you're not coaching against Becky. Right, Becky's kind of, when Chelsea was out there, Chelsea Gray got hurt. Let me back up, folks. I want you to understand this. How this went down, because I know what Plum said, and I know Plum told us some stories, right? Chelsea Gray got hurt. Okay, follow me out. Plum took it over, did an outstanding job. But Plum knew in the bottom of her heart, you're going to give this rock up when Chelsea Gray gets back. So that's where Plum said, I got to have my own team. Because now I have to play with the ball and Chelsea has to play with the ball. We both can't play with the basketball. Now, when you get to Jackie Young said, give me the rock. I can come from the wing. I can come from the left, right. Jewel Lloyd, I can come get it on you. Right? So Kalia Copper's got her hands full and Tibbetts got his hand full because now you got another wild card in it. You're going to put a lot of pressure on A'ja Wilson. All right? You can defend that. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you did, really. She got 21 points last game. But how you going to control Chelsea Gray? Because she's going to tempo you out, right? She's going to understand what defense you're in. And, folks, this is real talk. Okay, Chelsea Gray is so good. Okay, and Chelsea Gray is so good, whether she chooses to go in broadcasting, she broadcasts for the NBA Sacramento Kings, right? Whether she chooses to go in coaching. Normally, the coaches are called timeout. You know, Becky Hammond will blow a gasket, right? So here's what happened, I realized, with the Las Vegas Aces. Becky calls timeout. Normally, the coaches go out about halfway out to half court so they can have their huddle. Okay, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? We want to go back and tell the team, okay, so we can get them back on track and get them going. You know what I saw Chelsea Gray do? And this is WNBA scouting at the finest. Chelsea Gray went on the sideline. Chelsea Gray pulled out her own clipboard. Now, check this out. They're over there meeting what they going to talk about. You got Chelsea Gray over here talking about skip that. This is what we got to do. Now, after they come back, she going to put the clipboard away. Okay, Becky, what you got to say? I didn't already talk to the team, right? Excuse me, folks. I apologize with that. I've already talked to the team, and I know what my team needs. You want to talk about the best of the best? The best of the best, folks, is Chelsea Gray. There's nobody going to get in there and beat you like Chelsea Gray. So what happened in the game? You play an 89-86 game. Chelsea Gray is a plus 10, okay? So really, Las Vegas should have won by 10. If everybody was on board. But you got some people -2, -1. But the biggest thing that's going to hurt Coach Tibbetts, he cannot match the bench fire. Okay, you got to look at this, folks. In the bench, now here we're just talking in the bench, and I don't know how Coach Tibbetts overcomes this, because he got, from DeWanna Bonner, he got 10 points, right? Okay, from Whitcomb, he got 6 points, right? And he put in there Westbelt, so he's running a 7-man rotation. But he didn't get any points out of Westbelt. Now, when you go over to the Las Vegas Aces, folks, this is where it gets interesting. You're going to get 21 out of Dana Evans, and you're going to get 18 out of Jewel Lloyd, right? And then you're going to get another 2 out of Gustafson. So really, you got 3 players. Here's where I want you to understand where Coach Nate Tibbetts, and Tibbetts is a smart coach. Okay, he can just about figure out anything. He's the highest paid coach in the WNBA, so he's got to figure this out. But you cannot figure out when you got a bench that goes out there and gets you what? 41 points off the bench? That's hard to beat. And if you don't stop Dana Evans, okay, then you're definitely not going to stop Jewel Lloyd. Then you're definitely not going to get Jackie Young. And then you're definitely not going to get Chelsea Gray, because that one there is a master of art. Okay, and I've seen them all try. I saw I mean, you talk about WNBA. That's why I saw Pam McGee try to go out there and beat Chelsea. You can't beat Chelsea. Chelsea is one of those players, and when you look at her mom and how her mom operates, she came out of Sac Future. That's why I always tell you, my director, Coach V, they had all these were babies. They were like 4th, 5th graders. They raised, I've never seen anything like this in women's basketball with Sacramento Future. They raised about 30 players from the 4th grade in Sacramento all the way up to high major Division I, Arizona, Duke. All these players are going, Florida, right? They raised all these girls at once, and what they called that team was Sac Future, Sacramento Future. This is the women's basketball of Sacramento, and this is our future, okay? But Chelsea Gray was in that group along with a lot of other great players that all came out of Sacramento, and Sacramento became a hotbed for basketball, right? And that's where Chelsea is. So I've watched Chelsea. Chelsea, Tibbetts has got his hands full. They're going to have to control it, because here's what happened with Tibbetts. Tibbetts went out there and they played a good game. I mean, folks, you shoot 47% from the field, you shoot 38.9% from the three-point line, and you get 76% from the free throw. You're supposed to win that ball game. Tibbetts is not going to lose a bunch of ball games shooting that percentages right across the board. And you go in there and you control it. You get your rebounds. You're doing everything. And Alyssa Smith is a -2. That's a tough one, because she went to the line She's got to correct that. That could have went to overtime. That game could have been won by Phoenix. Now, if Phoenix gets beat again today, it's going to deflate them. They're going to be down. Can we win? Can we win? They need to split this series and take game 3 and take the control of the series back so they can do it. Now, what do the Aces have to offset that? I mean, it's simple talk, folks. It's not going to be rocket science, right? Let me tell you exactly what it is. The Las Vegas Aces have experience in the process of winning championships. So now when you get to Becky and Becky's there, Becky is not under duress trying to coach the team. Once they all came back together and they all understand what Becky wants, now they don't have to be coached every possession. You have some WNBA coaches have to coach every possession. You're going to have Tibbetts who has to coach every possession. Becky doesn't have to do that because she has Chelsea Gray, and Chelsea Gray knows what sets they need to be in. She looks at the defense, so she's reading what comes out with Tibbetts. Once she gets an understanding what Tibbetts doing, now she knows what's offense to run, and she's basically calling her own plays. There's not a lot of WNBA point guards that call their own plays for the entire game, okay? And then when it comes a moment or two, like I told you, in the huddle, she brought out her own clipboard and said, this is what we're going to do. Threw the clipboard away. Okay, Becky, what do you got to talk about? That's a pro, right? And I said it 2 years ago, and I'll tell you now, the best of the best. Right? She got injured for a year. You're talking about Chelsea Gray going to win her 4th title. Okay, after a while, she gets number 5. That's one for every hand. And she's done it time and time again, and her efficiency is outstanding. You come out of plus 10, and you are balling. I mean, it's just one of those things that she is the one that controls it. Took 7 shots, right? 1 of 4 from 3. But here's the key, got 10 assists. So if the assists go up, that's going to be a problem for Phoenix, right? And that's where because you got to play off ball and you got to play against dribble penetration. You got to play against downhill stop and pop. And that's hard because what the Aces have is everybody can put it on the floor. So whoever touches the ball, they can put it on the floor and then they can shoot it, right? So now you got to defend the 3. You got to defend them from putting it on the floor. And now you're going to get in the dribble kick, which is it. One thing about the Aces that Becky clearly understands is defensive rotation. If you watch the Aces, how they rotate, because they're doing shots and they're running offensive sets and shots are going up in rotation, because if they don't go up in rotation, they're going to offset her defensive rotation to get him back. The Aces are one of the few teams that understand that in the WNBA, so their transition defense is very well ran. Now, Tibbetts, Satu Sabally is going to need a bigger game and is going to have a bigger presence, right? And you got to look at that. Alyssa Thomas, she'll bounce back, right? But it's just, you're going to wear out, right? Because you got too much firepower coming at you once. And when you get all that firepower, and I'm saying when Becky Hammon was able to convince Jewel Lloyd to come off the bench. Folks, you're sending 25 points to the bench, but they picking it back up now, and then iron sharpens irons because now she's running with Dana Evans. Dana Evans like, you guys can ball over here. Dana Evans like, I thought I was a point guard, okay, but now I'm looking at Chelsea Gray. Boy, these are balling. Then you're going to get Dana Evans going to meet Phil Handy. You're going to meet all the trainers, right? Because the entire Las Vegas team is Clutch Sports, best in the business, right? Jada Lee, best in the business, right? And I know Calvin Andrews, and I already know what he does because I've already seen it in action, right? And that's the Oakland Soldiers. Well, you got the best of the best with Clutch, and you can't get any better than that. And when you look at, you bring all of their clients together, right? I mean, how much better can you get? They're going after a WNBA championship now. Phoenix, you got to step on the gas in game 2. Because if you don't step on the gas, you're going to be down 0-2. That's going to be a long haul to come back, and I don't think you can beat the Aces down 0-2. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. Vegas Insiders, they got Vegas by 3.5. That's really home court advantage. You know, you could tip it up, but the bottom line is this. You got 89-86. I'm going to watch that, see if these ladies can maintain that level of scoring. I still believe the scoring is going to go down lower because somewhere along the line, Coach Tibbetts, he's got a tempo out this game, and he's not going to go up and down with them. He wants to control that place, slow it down, get to the free throw line so he can set his defense, and that way he can have a better control of the game. Now, I like what Coach Tibbetts said. He said it's going to be a great series. Whenever you get a coach, a pro coach, who says, man, I love this so much, it's going to be a great series. I mean, I'm coming to get you in game 2. If he can, then it's going to change the series. You're going to see Becky blow a gasket because she ain't going to be happy because they're playing perfect basketball and they won. But did they really win? They won because Alyssa Thomas missed those free throws. So we're going to give that game 1 as a gift, and Tibbetts knows that. But he's taking game 2. But the only way he can take game 2, he's going to have to dethrone Chelsea Gray. And what he's looking at, like I said, Money Mike going to tell you, that's the best of the best. You want to know who the best point guard is in the WNBA? It's Chelsea Gray. That ain't going to change till he gets dethroned. She was just hurt. But I've been watching, that's Sacramento. I mean, that's out my backyard, right? I mean, come on, guys. If I can tell you anything, I can tell you something about Chelsea Gray, and that's a blue blood. And then when you come out of a blue blood, you hear me tell you about a blue blood program.